we want to state that the document is a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag because it has been able to address issues that the two principals instructed the team to go and sit down together and come up with the solutions that are required by Kenyans. It is an attempted diagnosis of the Kenyan problem, including divisive and contested elections, exclusion in governance, the state of devolution, youth empowerment, gender parity, representation, and revenue sharing. We strongly oppose the ongoing mistaken notion that the BBI document is closed. It is not, and it cannot. The BBI document must be subjected to further national consensus building. There must now be a clear path of this national consensus building. These steps cannot be left to a few. It now belongs to all Kenyans. I want to repeat it again, that we strongly oppose the ongoing mistaken notion that the BBI document is closed. It is not, and it cannot. The BBI document must be subjected to further national consensus building. There must now be a clear path of this national consensus building. The next steps cannot be left to a few. It now belongs to all Kenyans. If we truly want to tell and convince Kenyans that we are building bridges, we must embrace wide-ranging consensus building. We cannot build bridges in an environment of blackmail and intimidation. Every voice matters. We have the following concerns and recommendations: that this document has not addressed agriculture. Yet, it is the lifeline of our economy. For this country to grow, we really need to address issues agriculture. A country that is food scarce cannot industrialize, and at the same time, it is unhealthy. We therefore recommend a guaranteed return framework, where returns to our farmers is guaranteed, where the sweat of our farmers pay. Agriculture must start paying in Kenya. A sunset clause, running for 10 years, allocating 10% of the country's budget to agriculture, in compliance with the Malabo Declaration, should therefore be included in the amendments to the Constitution. I want to emphasize once again that the economy of this country is driven by agriculture, that everything else is anchored on agriculture. You cannot talk of manufacturing in this country without addressing issues of agriculture. You cannot talk of housing in this country without addressing agriculture, because where will people generate money to buy the houses? You cannot talk of good health in this country without addressing issues agriculture, because health is more preventive than curative. You cannot talk of a good health nation when people are not properly fed. And therefore, the first step that we must take is to address issues agriculture. We are not asking too much. Already, we have the money locked. We are talking of enhancing the shareable resources from 15% to 35%, which is acceptable. But what we are saying is that even the county government must ensure that 10% of the devolved funds must go to agriculture. And this must be protected. Because again, our economy is based on agriculture and service. We welcome the increased allocation of devolved government, and there must be a robust national discussion on how these resources shall be generated. National discussions must shift from sharing national cake to generating it. Once again, everybody is talking on how we shall share this cake, but we are not asking ourselves simple questions. How do we generate this cake? How do we expand the cake? And that is why, once again, issues agriculture must take center stage. Because if you want to talk of generating income in this country, we have to address issues of agriculture. And there's two ways about it. And people must also understand what agriculture means. Because sometimes when you talk of agriculture, people think it's about only coffee, tea, maize, potato. Agriculture encompasses all areas from livestock, fisheries, and all other aspects. And therefore, it is important that as we address national issues, addressing issues of how we share the cake, we must also have the other conversation. How do we expand this cake? We must now shift our discussion from consumption to production. We must be careful not to overburden wananchi with more taxes and overborrowing. Finally, we must be very clear on accountability and prudence on the part of those entrusted with those resources. The proposal to use multiple member representation in order to enhance the equality of the vote is welcome. We expect it to address gender parity, increase resources to the beneficiary constituencies, and the inclusion of people with disability and special interest groups.